All right, picture this. A general contractor just landed a huge project. The ink's barely dry on the contracts, the handshakes are done, but hey, the celebration doesn't last long, because now the real work begins. That plan that won them the job, it's got to become an actual building.
So, you win the bid. Awesome. But what happens right after that? How do you take a winning number on a piece of paper and turn it into the actual concrete plan for a massive multi-million-dollar construction project? Well, the answer comes down to one single supercritical process.
It's called the estimating pass-off. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a relay race. The estimating team, they just ran a killer first leg and got you the lead. Now they have to nail that handoff, passing the baton, which is just packed with all their project knowledge, over to the construction team. You know, the folks who are about to run the next and much, much longer leg of the race.
And that perfect baton pass? Yeah, that doesn't just happen over some email chain. No way. It all goes down in a single, absolutely crucial meeting. This pass-off meeting is really the first time the theory of the bid smacks right into the reality of construction. So who's got to be in that room?
Okay, first up, you've got the estimator. This is the person who basically masterminded the whole winning bid. They're leading the show. And their audience? It's the team that's going to actually build this thing. The project manager, the superintendent, probably a project engineer, and an office manager too. The estimator's entire job here is to do a massive brain dump, download everything they know right into the minds of this team.
And believe me, the agenda is packed. They cover everything. We're talking about all the bureaucratic headaches, like special permits and which outside agencies to contact. Then there's the operational stuff, going over the pre-bid schedule, flagging critical submittals. But the real gold here is the human intelligence they're passing along. Those key insights from pre-bid meetings and the strategic thinking behind why they picked certain major subcontractors and suppliers.
But look, this isn't just a simple info dump. The most complex and maybe the most important part of this meeting is when the team has to put on their detective hats and solve a puzzle together. And that puzzle is almost always about the subcontractors. So the team usually runs into two common situations here. Let's look at scenario one. The estimator set aside money for a specific job. Let's say it's some specialized concrete work, but they haven't picked a sub yet. So the team knows, okay, we have a budget for this, but they've still got to go out and find the right partner for the job. Then you have scenario two. This is where maybe two subs quoted really similar prices, but their scope of work is a little different. The estimator was smart. They budgeted enough to cover either one. This gives the team flexibility to negotiate later and figure out who's really the better fit. The key takeaway here, a good budget is built with this kind of strategic wiggle room baked right in. All right, so once the subcontractor puzzle is more or less figured out and all the questions are answered, the meeting wraps up. But all that info that was just shared in that room, it's about to go through a major transformation. It's going to become the project's ultimate financial benchmark.
And just like that, the estimator's pass-off is complete. Baton passed.
So now the project manager takes all of that incredibly detailed information. We're talking the notes, the numbers, all those strategic decisions made in the meeting.
And they use it to forge what is arguably the single most important document for the entire financial life of the project, the original construction budget.
And listen, this is not just some spreadsheet. This document becomes, and I'm going to quote directly from our source material because it's so perfect, the financial benchmark to which all construction activity is compared. Think about that. Every single dollar spent, every hour of labor, every purchase order, it's all going to be measured against this one budget.
You know, all this focus on a single meeting might seem like a bit much, but its impact is absolutely massive. It shapes the success of a project that could go on for months or even years. So why does this one handoff matter so much? It really breaks down the whole flow perfectly. You start with a bid estimate. That's your theoretical plan, the one designed just to win the job. Then you have the pass-off meeting. That's the critical knowledge transfer, the baton pass. And it all leads to the construction budget, the practical, real-world benchmark that's going to guide the project to success. And here's the kicker. A messy handoff creates a flawed benchmark. And a flawed benchmark can sink a project before the first shovel even hits the dirt.
So there you have it. The benchmark is set. The plan is in place. But that leaves us with the million-dollar question that every single project team has to face, right? What happens when the messy, unpredictable reality of a construction site just doesn't line up with the neat and tidy numbers in that original estimate?